Hey. Welcome back to Life Beyond the Filter, the podcast. I'm your host, Pinky, and today is episode 6. So, we're going to get right into it. And this is Life Beyond the Filter, where it's not just a highlight reel, this is real stuff. So, come on in. Let's get straight to it. So, Life Beyond the Filter, episode 6 is all about being a neurodivergent baddie. Yes, I said it, baddie. Because somewhere along the way, a lot of us were made to feel like the way our brains work was a problem to be fixed. Too scattered, too emotional, too everything. And today we're flipping that narrative and getting straight to the facts completely. We're completely flipping that narrative. In this episode, I'm going to share my own story. We're going to bust some myths, talk about stuff that nobody wants to say out loud, and remind you that your brain, it ain't broken, just different. So come on, grab a seat and let's get straight to it. And let me just say this. I know I talk a lot with my hands. I have to move, I have to fidget. And baby, that's all a part of being a neurodivergent baddie. If you know, you know. So, in layman terms, what neurodivergent actually means, so everyone can understand, is for myself, I'm going to speak for myself, is I'm combined ADHD. I'm hyperactive. I struggle with focus, and it takes me a little longer to get things done. And I struggled with this for years, quite honestly, because I felt like I didn't have any motivation. I I felt lazy some of the times. Like I knew what I needed to do, but I couldn't make myself do it. Almost like paralysis. I couldn't move. I couldn't do what needed to be done. And that was so frustrating for me, somebody who's highly motivated and just used to getting things done, used to working hard and leveling up. Like it was a struggle. So I first started noticing something was different after I had my daughter. And I say after I had my daughter. So throughout school, now looking back, I noticed the signs of ADHD, but they weren't as prominent as they became after I had my daughter, right? So I always had to have a system in place. Like, I know what I need to do and I'm going to get it done. I desperately needed structure. So, what my home looked like in my adult life is my kids had a bedtime. We ate dinner. I cooked dinner every night. Like, we ate at the table. Kids went down for bed at 8:30. So, that means they took their showers, they did their homework, they read their books, and, we went to work the next day, what have you, got up, brushed teeth, washed face, took a shower, got ready where we needed to go. That was day in, day out. It was structure. We were organized, right? Keep in mind, my oldest babies are not my bio babies. So, and keep that in mind, right? That's very important to note because I didn't notice a shift until after having my first child. It rewired me. Like all the systems and structures that I had in place was no more. Like it went out the window. And I didn't realize it until later on. So, yeah, so my daughter came in the picture and all that structure I had, like bedtime, dinner, like I was a hot mess. Like that's when the paralysis got strong, and I used to wonder to myself, like, what is going on? Why am I like this all of a sudden? So fast forward to me getting into real estate, right? So my position that I thought I was going to retire from, I got laid off, along with many others in corporate America in 2019. And that was truly a blessing in disguise for me. So I got into real estate, which real estate allowed me to be my creative self. But there were still those instances where I just could not like grasp, and not necessarily grasp, but like do what I needed to do when I needed to do it to get the results that I knew I needed, right? And I used to voice that all the time. When I was on a team, I used to voice it to my team lead, even my broker at the time. I would be like, I know what I'm supposed to do, but it's like I cannot make myself do it. And that is the most frustrating thing ever, right? It just was the most frustrating thing ever. So, fast forward to us moving to a new school district. That's when things started to really sink in for me. So, we moved to another school district. Our youngest was in kindergarten. And when we switched to the new school district in kindergarten, her teacher had a lot of concerns, right? Like, she's very hyperactive and she doesn't focus well. Now she's also one of the youngest in the classroom because her birthday is literally the last day to be considered for that grade. Us being us, I'm like, okay, well, I know what she needs to do, right? Like, we have to be more strict with her bedtime. We have to ensure the meals are better and more consistent and more nutrition, because there's times when I just wasn't feeling it. And you want McDonald's, baby? I'm not about to fight you. Like, all the tantrums and arguing, I did not have the energy for it. I would get overstimulated so fast. So it's like, come on, let's go get McDonald's. You want pizza? Come on, let's get pizza. Like, I didn't have the mental capacity to fight that battle with this child. So, yeah, we're just going to be better. We're just going to do better. And her teacher would just give more and more concerns. And in my mind, I'm starting to get a little offended because I'm like, who this for? What? So we went to Sylvan Learning Center because I'm a very hands-on mother. If you know that about me, you know that. And that was one of the discussions that we had because my son Deshaun, he also had the same concerns. Like, literally, him and Kennedy were copy and paste. Like, as far as their behavior, energy, mannerism, everything. And it's crazy because how did we have almost the same child? And I didn't birth the both of them. So, and that was my husband and I's argument with Kennedy's teachers is, her brother was the same way. Teachers had the same concerns, but we did X, Y, and Z, and that helped tremendously. So we're just going to do the same for her, right? So it wasn't until, okay, so kindergarten passed, we're in first grade now. I'm still trying to have a consistent structure, right? And it's killing me slowly because I cannot grasp it. Like, I could not get a grip. So first grade, I'm a very hands-on mother. I communicate with teachers regularly. I show up to school events, etc. And that's just always been me, even with my bonus babies. Like, that's just always been me. I don't have step at all, and especially when it comes to education. Like, we're going to communicate with the teachers. We're going to get to the bottom line. We're going to have a resolution, and that's why I knew in my heart and soul, like, nothing's wrong. Like, I just have to do what I did with her brother, right? The problem was I no longer had that capacity any longer. Like I said, having her, it rewired me in a way that I didn't even know. Like, I knew I already struggled with certain things with my attention span and my lack of focus. However, having a child and getting older and going through different things in life, it brought it out more. I could no longer shield my ADHD. Fast forward, it was her end of first grade year, and I loved her first grade teacher. We had a partnership and we would plan things accordingly and talk things out. And as we were planning things, we came to the conclusion, like, wow, she she probably does have ADHD, which I did always suspected her entire life. I used to ask her our daycare. I used to ask her first grade or her preschool teacher, I'm like, do you think she has ADHD? Do you think she's hyperactive? And they're like, no, all kids, she fits right in line with all the other kids. So, so now her teacher and I are partnering consistently on this, and something had come up with me. I had a licensing test coming up, something along, I had a test coming up, so I had to study for it. And studying always made me so anxious because I know my attention span. I know my focus. It's so hard for me to study because everything distracts me. Literally, squirrel. That's how my mind is, right? And that was my aha moment. Started crying because I'm like, ADHD is genetic. My baby has it, and I know I struggle with these things. So I can't allow her to have these struggles and go through life having to work or try 10 times harder because the focus is hard. And let me tell you something, very intelligent, very intelligent. My kids, me, like very intelligent. So it's never that we can't get it. It's harder for us. We have to work so much harder than the average person to retain and grasp something because of our lack of attention. So, yeah, so that was my epiphany. That was my aha moment to where I'm like, we got to do something about it. Now, at this point, I also knew that I was enrolling in school for the fall, so I was going back to college, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm going back to school. I'm going to have the same struggles the last time I was in school of focusing, and I don't want to continue living like this. Now, I'm a very transparent person. I am close knit with my family, and I talk to my family about a lot. So I discussed this with my family and my friends, and I'm like, here's what I'm dealing with. Here's what I'm going to do. I told them I am going to see a psychologist. I did find a psychiatrist, and I'm going to go for myself to see if I have it and then move forward with Kennedy, because at the end of the day, I knew even if I didn't want to have Kennedy diagnosed, I knew that I had to become better and get myself under control to be a better parent to her, to have her more under control. Can't pour from a glass half empty. That was my thought process. So I had an appointment with a psychiatrist, and we sat in there, and she set the stage. Here's how it's gonna go. I'm going to need a recommendation or somebody who's close to you for 6 months. It could be your husband, it could be your parent, and they have to complete this form as well. And then I'm going to ask you these series of questions. So she asked me a series of questions, and we're talking, and I don't remember how long it lasted, but as we're going through everything, she's like, okay, so the next steps, are you open to medication? And I'm like, what? Like, I thought we had to go through all these processes, and you had to get my husband to complete his assessment for me and all this. She's like, well, I do still need that, but it's pretty evident that you have combined ADHD. Like, just from the way your body language is as we're talking, the way you're telling me things, the story, I mean, the way you're answering, just across the board. Yes, girl, you got it. And I'm like, and then we discussed medicine. Now, I've always had a drug phobia. I don't like medicine. I don't like pills. I'll take vitamins and things like that. But as far as drugs, that was a huge no for me, like a big no for me. Um, but then honestly, I came to with it. I was like, okay, what are my options? I said, how about this? What can I look into? What recommendations do you have for me to research this myself? Any books, any researchers? I just need to review all this to know what I'm getting myself into before I agree to anything. So she recommended ADHD 2.0. I immediately went to my local library after that session and checked that book out. Man, did it change my life and my point of view. So we did discuss the medication. I told her I wanted a non-stimulant. I didn't want a stimulant option until I could fully do research, etc., and everything. So we did the non-stimulant option, and she said I'm going to send it to the pharmacy. If you decide you're going to go for it, get your prescription, take it, or get your prescription. If you decide you're going to take it, take it. If you decide against it, don't take it. Try to do X, Y, and Z. We talked about a whole plan. And, as we were talking about us, I shared what I was going through with my youngest child. And she's like, well, that age is the age that I can see individuals. So I'm like, okay, let me schedule my baby a session as well. So I scheduled her a session and I read the book. And then I said, you know what? I'm going to take it. When I tell you my brain was quiet, and I know y'all have seen those videos where people are like, oh my God, it's quiet. And they're crying. I wasn't that dramatic, but it was quiet. I didn't experience grief. I didn't experience any of that. But I was grateful that I was getting the necessary help that I needed. And something that is worth noting is so many people, especially women, go undiagnosed for years. Literally, my parents, I'm going to say it, I don't even know if they watch my podcast, but literally, my parents refused to believe that I had ADHD. One, my parents are Black. You know, in the Black community, a lot of us are against medicine, against recommendations, against doctors, for valid reasons. We were used as experiments, so valid reasons, but I'm going to speak for myself in this regard. I have to do what's best for me and mine, right? I can't I can't I listen to what people have to say, especially people that I trust their opinion and I know it's out of love and true regard. I do fully trust that. But at the end of the day, I'm an adult. I am responsible for myself and my family, and me and my husband have to do what's best for our family, right? And that's how I had to shift my mind. But I say all this to say my parents were against it because in their mind, they're like, my daughter is so smart. She's in college, like she's a college student. She's a supervisor. You have your certified substitute teaching certificate. You passed the real estate test. Like, basically, you have such a success record. There's no way you can have ADHD. That's where the stigma lies, and that is so hurtful and detrimental to so many women, is putting that hat on you. Like, you can do hard things. You've shown that you can do hard things countless of times. There's no way I'm going to believe that diagnosis. The issue with that is ADHD is not a here. ADHD is not a death sentence, right? It's not saying you have ADHD so you cannot do anything, right? It's you have to work so much harder than the average person because of your neurodivergent brain, because you can't focus as well as someone else. It is something that you have to work on. The organization, the schedule, the scatterbrain, the too much. I always wondered my entire life, why am I such an emotional being? Why do I feel things so hard and differently? I have always called myself an empath. Real, realistically, it's just my ADHD brain, my neurodivergent. I hyperfixate on things and I obsess over things, and it intensifies my emotions to where I cannot let it go. That's where you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, you're just too much. And let me clear that right now. You're never too much. You're only too much for the wrong person, okay? Such an aha moment. First of all, it's genetic. So if I have it, well, there's a possibility and probability that my child has it. But furthermore, one of my parents has it, or both. I'm not gonna diagnose them, but you know, it is genetic. And the fact that so many people dismiss it and just consider you lazy, or get this, the crime rate. So many people with ADHD and undiagnosed ADHD end up in jail because they did not get the help that they needed. See, in a neurodivergent brain, as I mentioned, you're over obsessing and over analyzing about things. Those impulsive thoughts, many act on those impulsive thoughts. And some of those impulsive thoughts can be dangerous. And if you're acting on it because you have the hyperactive and impulsiveness, the combined ADHD, that can be dangerous. So get help. It's one of those things, don't push it off. And I'm so grateful that, again, I started making my self care a priority, especially for my family, because it, it it's a lot, to just be in your own head all day, every day. It's consuming, it's a lot, and it's unproductive. And just read the book. Now, I say neurodivergent baddie because, I mean, look at me. Just kidding. But I do reframe my quirks about me. Yes, I giggle. Yes, I have a sense of humor. Yes, I'm impulsive. Yes, I do things. Yes, I could be the life of the party a lot of times because of my ADHD. But sometimes it can also be annoying. One of my struggles, oh my gosh, I used to get so upset with myself. Have you ever had a conversation with someone and while they're talking, you feel as though you're a great listener, but in your mind, it's like a jump rope, like someone's jump roping or double dutching, and you're waiting on your turn to jump in. Like that's how my mind worked in conversations. Is okay. It's my turn. I'm about to go in. Oh, I'm going in. I'm gonna talk now. But the other person wasn't done talking. Yeah, that's my mind during conversations, and I would get so mad at myself when I would like interrupt a conversation or interject. How it shows up in real life, the good and the chaos. I thrive under pressure. It's so bad, y'all. Like, part of me wants to censor what I say because I am still a real estate professional, as well as, I'm a psych major and all those things. But again, this is life beyond the filter. So I'm just going to tell it to you how it is. And telling it to you how it is I'm scatterbrained. Y'all well under pressure. And it is so bitter sweet because come Sunday, I am a raging, overstimulated mommy. Podcast. I went back to being a content creator. So I am on LTK. I have to do my posts and updates on there. I have to push content out on TikTok or advertise samples. And how I thrive, y'all. That's literally how and so when I say I thrive in chaos, that's what I mean. I have to do so much at a given time. Otherwise, I feel like I'm not doing enough. So, this mama right here, this wife right here is something. I don't know if it's my mascara. This wife, this mama right here, I'm superwoman. There's nothing I cannot do. There's nothing I cannot do. Um, doing more keeps me going. It keeps me grounded. It lets me know I got to show up. And that's how I thrive. Now, I also Now, what thriving looks like to me and me only is surviving the day, surviving my overstimulation, surviving my daughter's overstimulation, surviving work, college, like surviving the day is a huge win for me. Surviving the week, I do my goals small. I don't do big goals that are too big to where I don't celebrate the small wins in between. I'm able to check off my list, my to do list. Now, one day I will have that to do list. I buy a planner every year and I barely write in it. I'm working on me. I'm working on me. I'm working on me. So I say all this to say, one, these are the parts that nobody really talks about: the relationships, the parenting, the work, the self-worth. It's myself grace on hard times. That's something you always have to do, is allow yourself the grace. Every day is not going to be good, even for a non-neurodivergent person. Every day is not going to be good. Every day is not going to be perfect, and being okay with that. Give yourself grace. If you need to rest before you crash out, rest. Hey, and what I wish people understood is ADHD is not a made up diagnosis. It's not something that, oh, everybody has. Now, do a lot of people walk around here undiagnosed with ADHD? Absolutely, baby. And now that I am a psych major, I diagnose all of y'all in my head because I know how, well, they tried to diagnose my cousin or my uncle or my brother or whomever when we were kids, or they took medication and they were like a zombie or whatever. Everybody has a different experience, and you have to do what's best for you at the end of the day. I say all that to say, also take the steps and research things yourself. Don't just take someone else's word for it. Don't just take the psychiatrist's word for it. Do your research and your due diligence as well and know what's best for you and your family. ADHD, again, I'm telling y'all, read the book ADHD 2.0 because I swear it was so eye opening. When you, so if this resonated with you or you like to hear more about it, let me know in the comments. If you were not undiagnosed and I told you things that you maybe felt like, oh my God, I experienced that, come to the front, drop a comment. It's okay because I'm here for you. Again, this is Life Beyond the Filter. Leave a comment, share it with your friends, share it with your family, or maybe take it as a sign to schedule that psych appointment yourself and get evaluated yourself and know your steps and what's best for you. Okay? You know what's best for you. Pray about it. If you don't pray, write about it, research about it, do everything you need to do, but you cannot pour from an empty cup. And that's my philosophy on life. So take care of you, babe. I love y'all. Have a wonderful day. And thank you for tuning in to episode 6. And next is episode 7.